Poštovana ministre Joksimović, Vaša
Dear
Excellency.
Minister Joksimović, Your Excellency, Ambassador Fabrizi, dear Director of the UNOPS office, Mr. Telatin, representatives of local self-government, civil and private sector representatives of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to this official ceremony marking the successful closure and the results achieved of one of the largest development projects in Serbia, EU Pro program. Ladies and gentlemen, EU awarded 25 million euros for the implementation of this 3.5-year initiative, which started in 2018. Today, at the end of this program, where the co-financing from the government of the Republic of Serbia through local self-governments of 3.3 million euros and co-financing small and medium-sized companies, the funds to support them in the amount of 1.8 million euro, we can say that the program has implemented activities worth over 30 million euros. The program of support of the EU to the development of the local self-government contributed to the overall economic development of 99 local self-governments in Šumadija, West Serbia, and in South and East Serbia. Activities implemented were focused on providing assistance to Serbia in the process of European integration and support to a balanced socio-economical development in 3 areas: creating business environment for new investments, opening new jobs, better competitiveness of companies, improved operations of local self-governments, and improved social inclusion. Through 9 public calls, the program successfully selected and implemented 341 projects in this field, investing 22.2 million euros in the activities that directly positively affected the people of over 290,000 people in Serbia. This program was conducted by the UNOPS in cooperation with the Ministry for European Integrations and the line ministries and institutions of the government of the Republic of Serbia. The Ministry for European Integrations was the key partner that led the preparation of the programs and their implementation. I'd like to give floor to the Minister for European Integration, Mrs. Jadranka Joksimović. Please take the floor. Thank you, Vlado. Thank you, Vesna. Dear participants, dear Ambassador Fabrizi, it is a great pleasure. Late last night, our Prime Minister returned from Luxembourg from the first intergovernmental conference about the methodology. We had strategically important discussions on the future European integrations. We established that the first cluster, rule of law, has been open, which is the most important, and also the numerous reforms that we have implemented have been acknowledged. And I think they were well accepted with all the EU member states at the ministerial level yesterday. And I think it is an important piece of news and a good signal that we should proceed, because I believe the EU integrations for all of us in the region, and especially for us in Serbia, had its stalls and setbacks, but this is a momentum in the political dialogue, and I believe that this is an important piece of information for all of you and all of us, all the citizens of Serbia, because the EU integrations are not only what is the most important is the rule of law, but also everything else we are doing here today and that you have done in the 3.5 years, in the last 3.5 years, since the start of the implementation of this project in 2018. And I think that everyone at the local level, the regional development agencies, participants from the civil sector, NGO sector, business sector, small and medium-sized companies, the women entrepreneurs, and some more vulnerable groups in terms of employment, young people, women, Roma population, and so on, really had benefits from this program that I believe we implemented in 99 local self-government in Šumadija, in South Serbia, in East Serbia, West Serbia, and we managed to improve the business environment, to incentivize entrepreneurship, innovations, availability of cultural and other social content, so that we could achieve one of the most important goals of the European integration, that is reduction of the regional inequalities, disparities, and somehow I believe it is very important to say also reduction of the inner migrations from rural to urban areas, but a balanced territorial development, which is one of the key policies of the EU, that is the cohesion policy of the EU, for which considerable amounts are being allocated in the EU from the structural funds, but also for us, which are the candidate country, also the IPAR funds. I am really glad that immediately after this political intergovernmental conference, we have this event, which shows that our European integrations are a live process, which reaches every citizen of Serbia in different ways. That is the goal, that is the key value of this process. This process is owned by everyone. It is useful, it is difficult, of course, but it leads to huge benefits for every citizen of Serbia in any place, in any part of Serbia. I believe that EU Pro is one of the most important projects that we have had in the past 3.5 years with the EU from the pre-accession IPA fund, shows that we as a society, the local sub-governments and regional developmental agencies, the NGO sector, academia, business sector, everyone understood all the opportunities at their disposal, and that we build capacities together. Building capacities does sound a bit like a phrase, but it really implies learning new procedures, the method of preparing projects, project maturity, and the idea that the projects are implemented is for the purpose of improving economic growth, economic development, sustainable development primarily of all parts of Serbia. These are not wasted projects, wasted money into an invisible project. This really contributes to sustainable development, and this will be the key word, the key topic in the times ahead and in the period of the recovery of the EU also from the pandemic. We are currently coming out of it, but we have to stay cautious because it is still going on, and we really all have to be very focused and to join forces at the local and national level and to cooperate with the EU on the recovery from the pandemic. I believe that this is one of the important projects which shows the synergy of the goals of the Republic of Serbia and the EU as our key partner, the largest donor, investor. When I say the EU, I mean the member states, which are the biggest investors in Serbia. And in that sense, this project is a synergy of goals and positive results between the government of the Republic of Serbia and the EU. And I'd also like to thank Mrs. Telatin as the representative of UNOPS, who for years now have been implementing very successfully these projects. I will not get into details about numbers because we do have a presentation and the participants will talk about that. We have many people from all over Serbia who will talk about the details. So I'd like to hear primarily their experiences and to call on all of them because this project ends on the 30th of June. This year we are going to the EU Pro Plus, a continuation of this successful program, and to call on everyone to learn about it in time, to monitor all the calls that are published, because the EU will allocate also considerable funds to continue this successful project. So EU Pro, the #1, and successfully in good cooperation with positive results, and we are preparing for EU Pro Plus, which will start soon, and it is important for all of us to use these opportunities at our disposal as a candidate country, as a serious country in a pre-accession process. We show that we were able to manage the pre-accession funds. We always had some minor issues, but that's always an element of learning, and we are preparing to become a member state in a couple of years when we will have much larger structural funds at our disposal, so to be able to use them in a transparent and efficient way, and to show that EU integration bring benefits in the sense of a transparent democratic system, building institutions, rule of law, but also what is important to every individual, and that is sustainable development, improved economic potential and environment, which will mean new jobs because we are all on the way of considerable transformations. We are moving to new production methods. We are talking about green economy, about challenges that are ahead of Serbia, but also ahead of the EU. As such, we should get into right into the middle of these changes to avoid becoming losers in the changes. And this is also very important, the lessons learned we have from this program. I'd like to congratulate everyone who were the users of this project, who have successfully used this fund, and I'd like to call on everyone to monitor this and to apply for EU Pro Plus. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Joksimovic. We will hear from the experiences of the beneficiaries during these 2 days. As you've heard, the EU invested 20 million euros to support the local development of municipalities for development. And this is why I would like to ask Mr. Fabrizi, head of EU delegation in Serbia, to address us. Mr. Fabrizi, you have the floor.
Dobar dan svima. Good morning to all of you. Apologies for a little bit delays within the intergovernmental conference yesterday evening and today. Enough activities are going on, but I really delighted to see you all in this beautiful big room with this impressive background to talk about the EU Pro. The minister said many of the points. I would like just to, on my side, stress very few points. The first one is that we went outside Belgrade. Sometimes there's a feeling that EU integration is Brussels and Belgrade, is city to city. As the integration is much wider than that, is especially outside the cities. That's why we targeted 99 municipalities south of Serbia with this important project. The project was also flexible enough to take care also something that happened after we started the project. The COVID-19 broke out in 2020, and we were able also to use the EU Pro project. We direct nearly 10% of the original funding for devices, monitoring, oxygen, and other activities. In the sense also to give the idea that together with the Serbian authorities, we were also able to respond to unexpected event. But as the Minister said, this project started in 2018, so it's basically more than 3.5 years we have been working on this, and the number that you probably see are quite impressive. It's not self-complacency, but certainly 341 projects completed. 341 projects completed is quite a remarkable feature, and my congratulations to all the implementing agency, implementing players in all of this. The project had three main objectives. The first one is to work on economy and how we can help the economy to flourish or to start sometime in a small dimension. And certainly one of the elements, the result of creating economies, jobs. If my data are correct, AU opened 580 new jobs. There's a fly on me, but it will disappear. 580 jobs. So I think is a good number, not only in terms of quantity, but also in the work for the people who has been benefit of the project. Nearly half of the new jobs are being filled by women, and especially in rural and underdeveloped areas. And I'm reading also that in Kovaci village, near Kraljevo, and SMEs funded by this project is employing at the moment 18 women. So I think it's important of quantity and also the quality and also the disadvantages category. The second area was to work with the municipalities. And here we have been working with 55 local self-government. Is a very big number. And when we talk about local local authorities, we are talking about helping authorities for small villages, small entities to develop a business plan, to prepare technical documentation, to create industrial zones. So it's basically giving the municipalities the fundamental element to work on economy. And certainly, again, another example, in Priboj, for example, the free zone, which has been reconstructed with the hydro and water network, create condition for new investment, and 500 people are now employed into the Priboj free zone. The third area is the social inclusion. The question is, the question of the modern economy growth is to no one should be left behind. So the question is how we can make sure, how we can do the best possible, that the economic growth, the economic possibility is available for everybody. So it's a sort of an economic equal opportunities approach, and this goes mostly through education. The number will tell how many thousands of people have benefits of this project, disadvantaged area, vulnerable communities like Roma community. So this project was a success story, is a success story that we have decided together with the Serbian authorities to provide, to launch another one. Since already last month, the AU Pro Plus. We always add something. There's always a sign plus. We have also increased the financial envelope. It's 30 million euro. It is a continuation of this AU Pro. So final comment is to thanks Ministry of European Integration, who has been the partner in this. Thanks particularly to the minister, who always put her own leadership and commitment behind this project in its continuation. Special thanks to UNOPS, who has been our steadfast allies in different parts of Serbia. I always like to thank the team that for the first time I see in Belgrade. We always see in some rural, remote areas of Serbia. It's good to see back for once in Serbia. But maybe last point is that local communities, I said in many other occasions, play an important role. The Serbian economy is basically mostly structured around Corridor 10. We need to go beyond that, beyond Novi Sad, Belgrade and Niš. We need to outreach the rural area for question of demography, question of economic opportunity. So this project like EU Plus bring the EU and Belgrade beyond the Corridor 10, reaching area where otherwise will be very difficult to bring within project. But those projects are initiators, so like if something, a spark or something that has to grow through again. So this project important, they need to be sustainable in the future, cannot be dependent on the fund, and can also be multiplier of other initiatives. So it's important this new idea, new approach, these municipalities who knows right now how to do work with us, how one day we'll receive a cohesion fund, how they will manage much larger projects, will be able to work in an EU environment. And this, my point is nearly, as I said again other times, nearly 60% of the European legislation, 60% of the European legislation need to be adopted at a local level. Only think about environment legislation, water, soil, air. If the municipality doesn't know how to work in this environment, it will be very difficult for them. So this is also a transfer of knowledge, public administration knowledge, into this local municipality. They need to make a treasury of this, a best of it continues in the future. So final point, I think this has been a success story. Is another good story in the many jigsaw or the larger puzzle we are completing every day. Yesterday evening there was an important political moment to take stock in Luxembourg, where the Prime Minister and Minister Joksimovic were, together with the High Rep Borrell, with the Commissioner Varela and the Minister for all the Member States. The message is Serbia is fully engaged, we are fully engaged, we need to work harder, we need to work more to make this beautiful story to continue, and one day to make it happen and to be the family. I thank you very much and congratulations again to all those projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
As you've heard, UNOPS office, which implemented the EU program, has been over a decade cooperating with the EU and the Ministry for European Integration directed at local development. This is why I would like to ask the head of UNOPS office in Serbia to address us, please.
Thank you. Excellencies, dear partners, dear colleagues, I'm very glad to be here today to mark the successful completion of EU Pro, a program that focused on municipal development, that was funded by the Delegation of the European Union, and implementing close guidance and collaboration of the Ministry of European Integration, and also by Ministry of Economy, of Construction. And it was also implemented thanks to many partners, such as local self-government, businesses, benefit support organizations. In the last 3.5 years of the implementation of this project, it really managed to achieve a tangible contribution for the economic and social fabric of the country. In particular, this project identified that a key issue is to create an environment that is conducive for businesses. And for instance, focusing on the economic infrastructure was key in order to ensure that we do create an environment where investments are attractive, where jobs are created. It was also important to work with business support organizations in order to ensure that standards are there, trainings, and also sharing knowledge. And we also work a lot, of course, with local self-government in building infrastructure in health, in education, but also to ensure that the governance of this infrastructure is also there, because infrastructure must be accessible to all in order to promote social inclusion. As it was said, more than about 350 projects were actually completed thanks to EU Pro program. And all these projects aimed at enhancing the quality of life of the people in Serbia. It is another, I would say, key aspect of this project was the proximity with local communities, with their capacity. And also this program really aims at creating synergy between different teams and foster partnerships. And this was also fundamental in order to create the social change and give equal opportunities to all. I really would like to thank the Minister of European Integration for the guidance for the implementation of this project, of course the European Union for the trust on us, and all our partners. They really ensure that there was a successful implementation of this very important project. I would also like to thank my team for the dedication and commitment for ensuring that this project really came to an end fully. And it was also a project that, I would say, truly fulfilled the mandate of UNOPS, which is to support people building better lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sada je došlo vreme da čujemo I vidimo šta je to zaista I urađeno kroz ovaj program.
And see what has been done, how the assistance was provided at the local level. I'd like to give floor to Olivera, Kostić, manager of the program. Your Excellency, Minister Joksimovic, dear partners in the implementation of this program, participants of this fair, it is a great pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the EU Pro Program team, which in the past 3.5 years has implemented this project and achieved the results that I will be presenting to you now. Over these 3.5 years, we collaborated with local self-governments, but also with civil society organizations, the business support organizations, entrepreneurs, businesses, with strong partnership with the EU delegation and the Ministry for European Integration. We managed to achieve considerable results. These are just some of the numbers showing what we have achieved. Our project has reached 160,000 people as direct users of the activities that we implemented together. Also, we contributed to the implementation of over 1,700 jobs, over 180 in user companies and the rest in the infrastructure projects. Mrs. Kostić, of course, there are people behind numbers, so we can hear from some of the representatives from Aleksinac, Bojnik, Velika Plana, Priboj, Svilajnac, and Užice on the implementation of the activities with the EU Pro program.
Mi kao lokalna samouprava dugujemo izuzetnu zahvalnost ljudima koji su radili ispred EU programa sa nama, da su nam stalno bili na raspolaganju.
Mnogo je potrebno ulaganje u samoj opštini da bismo doveli kvalitet života na onaj nivo kakome težimo.
Da našim građanima omogućimo da uče, da rade.
Kad radi privreda, kada funkcioniše poljoprivreda, to se oseti I u standardu građana.
Nas je naravno I ovaj projekat naučio mnogo čemu. Naučio nas je koliko moramo biti dobro planski, organizovani, koliko moramo imati saznanje I svestranosti u svim oblastima, počev od građevinarstva pa do kulture, pa naravno energetske efikasnosti I sve to zajedno zaokružimo sa zaštitom životne sredine.
Urađena je kompletna energetska efikasnost objekta.
Ponosno možda kažemo da imamo savremenu I vodovodnu I hidransku mrežu.
Zahvaljujući ovim projektom mi smo završili infrastrukturu I ona je sad upotrebljiva I samim tim je krenula odmah da daje rezultate.
Bojnik dobija jednu novu nadu za opstanak ljudi, za nove pogone I nova upošljavanja.
Danas je opština Velika Plana jedna opština gde je veoma mala stopa nezaposlenosti, kao što je to slučaj u najrazvijenijim evropskim zemljama.
A sada koristimo njihovo znanje, njihovo iskustvo da unapredimo naš rad, naravno za dobrobit svih nas.
So EUPRO supported entrepreneurship and improving competitiveness of small and medium-sized companies through procurement of new equipment and through projects implemented by business support organizations. In order to support the competitiveness of companies, EUPRO provided direct support to entrepreneurs and companies, but also implementation of projects implemented by business support organizations through 2 public calls. EUPRO supported 203 companies, out of which 68 were owned by women. In total, over 6 million euro was invested in this activity. EU provided 4.3 million euro, while entrepreneurs co-financed projects with considerable funds in the total amount of almost 2 million euros. The supported companies have been selected through supported business idea, expected results and effects, sustainability and social impact. As much as half of them are from rural areas and over a third are owned by women. Cumulative results enabled the opening of over 570 jobs. 44% of the newly employed are women. In addition to new jobs, the support improved productivity and the quality and the range of products, but also contributed to the chain of available vendors. The program was implemented with regard to the positive social impact of the project. They were obliged to apply socially responsible operations, and they improved the lives of over 44,000 people. In addition to the support to companies and entrepreneurs, EU, through the EU program, supported with over 600 euros and 20 projects implemented by business support organizations, among which regional development agencies. This activity helped over 600 small companies to improve their production processes, the quality of production and services, to open their doors towards new markets. And it's very important that in the year of the pandemic, they started their digital transformation and to implement digital marketing. About the importance of the support, we can hear from the entrepreneurs themselves who are successfully operating throughout Serbia. Let's hear from them.
Podrška je potrebna kad ste mali i kad imate ograničene mogućnosti. Ukoliko tad dobijete, ajde da nazovemo ta krila, vama je posle svaka godina sve lakše i lakše, vi ćete se razvijeti, jednog dana postati velika firma.
Ja sam stidljivo počela sa sopstvenim sredstvima.
Znači sve više mušterija se prijavljuje, a mi ne stižemo da obavljamo posao upravo zbog nedostatka ove mašine koju smo dobili preko EU-a.
Zaposlili smo 3 nova radnika.
Povećao se obim posla, primili smo 5 novih radnica.
Nabavljen je mlin.
Sve je krenulo na bolje.
Zaposlili smo 3 nova radnika.
Imamo 9 novih radnika.
Znači, sa ovom trakom mi smo duplo uvećali proizvodnju.
Puno puta je završavalo na deponiji taj sunđer. Onda smo došli na ideju da mi taj sunđer otkupimo, preradimo i opet vratimo u proizvodnju.
Ova mašina je promenila, mnogo je promenila. Kraju bez nje ne bismo ni mogli da radimo.
Komponente koje proizvodimo za naše mini bagere sada proizvodimo sami.
Ovakav jedan projekat mnogo znači za našu sredinu. Omogućava takođe ljudima obučavanje.
Iskoristili smo ova sredstva za implementaciju i sertifikaciju ISO standarda.
Osim sredstava za opremu, dobila sam sredstva za uvođenje standarda HACCP-a.
90% našeg tržišta je zasnovano na francuskom području. Jer kada smo poslali nove uzorke proizvoda, znači ljudi su oduševljeni i nisu upoznati s tim stvarima da s naših područja takav proizvod može se plasirati.
Te iste večeri, kad je kamion otišao, razmišljao sam da smo nešto u Srbiji napravili što je vredno da ga kupi nemački klijent.
Nije to samo u pitanju novac, to je u pitanju i briga za ekologiju, briga za radnike, sistem vrednosti koji se gaji u Evropi, tako da, mislim da bi trebalo Evropa da nastavi sa ovim.
Mnogo smo stvari saznali od pravila igre u Evropi, kako to funkcioniše.
Pa naš krajnji cilj je zapravo izvoz na tržište Evropske unije i jako nam je drago što je Evropska unija prepoznala i odlučila da uđe zajedno sa nama u finansiranje ovog projekta.
Savjetujem našim privrednicima, naročito onim malim privrednicima, da se ne boje prosto izlaska na evropsko tržište.
Mi se ovde nećemo zaustaviti, to je sigurno.
Ceo grad se razvija, cijela zajednica se razvija, cijela zemlja na kraju krajeva.
Dobro je ovdje da se potvrđuje ono pravilo da zaista slika nekad govori više.
See the rule that pictures speak louder than words. We would like to thank our technical support and within the promotion of local development, the EU invested more than 8.5 million euros to support local governments to create conditions for developing infrastructure and for improving the quality of services provided to entrepreneurs and citizens and companies with the ultimate goals that are common to the government of the Republic of Serbia and the EU. And this is to strengthen general overall business environment in Serbia through 4 public calls in cooperation with the Ministry of European Integration. We supported 49 projects to provide conditions for infrastructural development. We developed 18 data regulation plans to enable investments in the amount of 49 million euros, out of which 1.5 million euros is already realized. 12 technical documents helped realize 4.2 million euros of investments into the infrastructure, enabling opening of 90 new jobs. 40 GIS projects developed, supported the development of 432 applications and the employment of 42 staff members in the local self-governments to support these services. 4.5 million euros were provided for 9 projects of business infrastructure with the aim to improve competitiveness at the local level. Through these activities, 108 million euros of potential investments were made, 53 of which in the value of 44 million euros were already realized. The improved infrastructure provided conditions for new investments, equipping 630 hectares of land and opening over 1,000 jobs. Let's look now how the improvement of business infrastructure contributed to creating conditions for new investments and opening new jobs in Priboj, Svilajnac and Bojnik.
Mislim da je ovo savršeno i vreme i mesto za nešto ovako.
One su zamišljene da budu generator razvoja jednog grada, jedne sredine, tako i sa ovom slobodnom zonom.
Poslovanje u slobodnoj zoni Svilajnac izgleda kao i poslovanje u Nemačkoj, Italiji, Švajcarskoj, zato nam i dolaze kompanije iz tih zemalja.
Puno podršku imamo od strane slobodne zone Svilajnac, tako da naše poslovanje za sada napreduje više i bolje nego što smo očekivali.
Stvaramo povoljnu investicionu klimu, privlačimo nove investitore.
Imamo dovoljno zemljišta za greenfield investicije.
Sa velikim zadovoljstvom moram kazati da je konačno ostvaren ovaj naš san i Bojnik dobija jednu agroindustrijsku zonu.
2019. godine imala je izvoz preko 12 miliona evra. Zapošljava preko 500 ljudi.
Uslovi za rad na vrhunskom nivou. Ovo je jako velika šansa, kako za mene, tako i za sve ostale radnike.
Nešto za naš grad, novo što je donijelo dosta radnih mjesta i što je pokrenulo proizvodnju u ovom gradu.
Za neke buduće korisnike, znači sva ta infrastruktura je razvedena.
Nama je s jedne strane bitno da imamo dovoljan broj novih radnih mesta i to su direktne plate, direktna davanja. S druge strane, nam nije nebitno odakle nam dolaze te fabrike, jer prosto se menja kultura poslovanja u Svilajncu. Mislim da su ovakvi konkursi dobri za lokalne samouprave, jer puno ljudi učestvuju u pripremanju dokumentacije. Na taj način mi pripremamo i samu lokalnu samoupravu za budući rad u Evropskoj uniji.
Uticaj Evropske unije je sigurno veliki na sve one koji žele da ulažu i ako vide prisustvo Evropske unije u Srbiji, oni će samim tim i lakše doći ovde.
Ovakvi koraci nas dovode da budemo konkurentni u regionu.
Mislim da u tom pravcu trebamo da nastavimo. Kako Evropska unija da podržava nas, tako i opština da uzvraća.
djelotvorno bavio pitanjima socijalne uključenosti i
effective work on social inclusion, supporting social cohesion by supporting small-scale infrastructure development projects. Intervention was planned as a response to the needs recognized through consultations with key partners and beneficiary groups. Within social inclusion and cohesion projects, EU Pro supported 35 projects with 4.4 million euros, enabling better conditions for education and health services. After the finalization of these projects, 162,000 people's lives were improved, especially vulnerable groups, improving their quality of work and life. Conditions in educational, health, and sports institutions were improved, including also the utility infrastructure. Additional good governance activities in partnership with the Swiss Pro program were implemented, focusing on building the capacities of municipalities for sustainable and transparent property management, building the capacity for social inclusion, and planning the distribution of savings based on energy efficiency interventions. Program supported activities directed at the contribution to the realization of rights of national minorities, better interethnic relationships. 32 multi-ethnic municipalities were supported, 22 projects with over 375,000 euros. These projects contributed to reducing inequalities, discrimination, and providing chances to individuals in 17 municipalities. Within the social cohesion activities, the program supported the improvement of socioeconomic situation of vulnerable groups and national minorities, and over 4,600 citizens, 60% of whom were women, benefited from this. The stories of these projects beneficiaries, Babušinca, Leskovac, Merošina, Svilaja, Surdulica, and Mladić and Kran will best present the meaning of this specific support to improving the lives of people.
Ovo je velika promena za našu decu, naravno pozitivna. Oni su oduševljeni svojom školom.
Svaki čas smo čekali kada će krov da nam padne na glavu. Danas se sve to promenilo, sve se renoviralo.
Više ne duva sa prozora, imamo novu stolariju, bezbedno je.
Bilo je, da, hladno, a sad je mnogo bolje.
I eto, nakon 72 godine konačno smo uspeli da dobijemo jednu ovako lepu, praktičnu građevinu u ovom selu.
Najveće uspehe smo postigli posle ovog projekta, jer smo dobili uslove da mogu deca da treniraju kao deca iz Novog Sada, Beograda.
U ovoj školi pohađaju moja dva deteta. Inače sam i ja pohađao ovu školu i tako da mi je poznato od ranije u kakvom je stanju bila.
Deca sad, da kažem, uživaju u ambijentu u kome pohađaju nastavu.
Glavni cilj je bio pre svega da naše žene iz siromašnih porodica dobiju siguran otkup za svoje proizvode.
Mlađim naraštajima pokažemo i dokažemo šta je ukus i miris paradajsa, paprike, to nam je negde najveći cilj.
Ima negde oko 50 dece, romske dece, koje redovno pohađaju osnovno obrazovanje, dok je to ranije bilo jednocifreni broj.
Kad sam krenula da treniram, krenuli smo mnogo više da se družimo, ovako jedva da smo razgovarali međusobno.
Mogu slobodno reći da je naš cilj ostvaren. Deca se druže, idu zajedno u školu, čak su i prijatelji na Facebooku.
Pa najviše me motiviše drugarstvo.
Veliko zadovoljstvo pre svega meštana Kušiljeva i mladih koji zapravo najviše koriste ovaj prostor.
Moja škola je najlepša za mene.
Ja bih zamolio još jednom da čujemo Olivera.
I would like to ask Olivera Kostić to address us once again. I would like to thank finally the EU, the Ministry of European Integration, and the great partnership that enabled such results. I hope you share our emotions when you see these statements from our beneficiaries. We also would like to thank our steering committee members who helped our activities be in synergy with the strategic priorities of the government, the Ministry of Economy, Ministry of Construction, Transparency, Infrastructure, Development Agency of Serbia, Public Investment Office, Standing Conference on Towns and Municipalities. I would also like to thank, on behalf of the team, all our beneficiaries because of whom these projects have had such an impact on the quality of life. These are local self-governments, regional development agencies, civil society organizations, business support organizations, and business owners who worked with us over the last 3.5 years. We hope to continue this cooperation within the EU Pro Plus program. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Kostić. These were some of the program achievements and realized goals. And now we are opening officially the virtual project fair, which will during the 23rd and 24th June be open for all those who would like to learn more about development projects, about lessons learned and best practices, which will be discussed at panels closely linked to the local development. This virtual fair is supposed to present successful projects, but also our beneficiaries to present themselves to you. You can see some of the successful infrastructural projects implemented with local self-governments here. In addition to interested citizens, we propose to everyone to go to and visit their colleagues and contact them directly through the booths. They can share best practices. In the fair, you can virtually visit 2 more rooms where micro and small enterprises were supported. In one room is the food and textile industry, and in another, wood and metal industry. You can contact all participants via email if you are interested in their products or potential cooperation. You can access the agenda of events. Ahead of us lies the program with the key topics for discussion. We will discuss best practices, obstacles, but also the future of local integral development, which will be the focus of the new EU development program implemented by the INOPS, which will be called EU Pro Plus. The fair is now officially open. We would like to invite you to stay with us for the next 2 days, visit our beneficiaries' booths, and learn more through organized visits. And I have the honor now and the pleasure to invite everyone here to take a family photo at the stage here to keep us company. I would like to ask the speakers and the participants to come up here and make a joint photo.